Welcome back. The Washington Post has published a report on the devastation caused by people wielding the lightweight semi-automatic style rifle known as the AR-15. The article is detailed and it's visceral, and it includes information and images from mass shootings that have never been published before. Joining us tonight to talk about the report and why the Post decided to do it is one of the people who worked on it, national reporter Silvia Foster-Frau. So Silvia, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
There are reasons, of course, why these kinds of images are not typically published or broadcast, but you and your colleagues chose to override those constraints this time. Tell us why.
Yes, we were really seeking to find a way to demonstrate the destructiveness of AR-15 style rifles, and we sought to strike that balance between showing the real power of this weapon and how it has been wielded in the deadliest mass shootings, while also balancing that, of course, with the concerns and the sensitivity and the humanization of the victims' family members and survivors and others affected by these shootings.
Yeah, the issue of banning semi-automatic weapons such as the AR-15, really the whole conversation around AR-15s is divisive here in America. Do you think lifting the veil off of the hard truth and reality here might tip the scales for some people?
You know, I think especially right now, we see so many horrific images coming from abroad, right? Especially when you think about the Israel and Gaza conflict. But what we're not seeing as much of is the horrors that are happening here at home. And we felt like we had a kind of public service mission to reveal what is happening in all of these public spaces that we are all very familiar with: schools, churches, malls, you name it. And so what we really sought was to show, look at these everyday places that you know so well, and look at what these mass shootings wielded, used with a gunman with an AR-15 are doing to these people and these places that you know so well.
Mm-hmm. You know, those who oppose weapons bans of any kind will look at these images and once again say it wasn't the guns wreaking the havoc, it was the people wielding them. What would you tell them?
What we found is that of the deadliest mass shootings, AR-15 style rifles were the most commonly used. And so we have these rifles that are very popular and beloved in the country, but are also the source of some of these huge mass killings that we're seeing every day. And so what I would say is we're specifically focusing on this gun because it is so popular, because it's so accessible, because of the huge marketing push that has evolved around this weapon that has also contributed to so many deaths.
Yeah, Silvia, I have to tell you, I tried to view the article online today, and I couldn't get all the way through it without honestly taking a couple of breaks and staring out the window for a bit. You had to immerse yourself in this material while doing the research and writing this up. I just want to ask you, even just from an emotional standpoint, how difficult was it for you and your colleagues at the Post to put this together?
Thank you for asking that. We did a little training ahead of time with the Dart Center for Trauma to kind of prepare ourselves for how to navigate going through the thousands of images and videos and court records that we went through. And then we tried to be really intentional when we were about to immerse ourselves in those, that we knew what we were looking for, that we had a clear purpose, and that we weren't just kind of absorbing and exposing ourselves to these things that you really can't unsee, right? Like once you see something, you can't unsee it. And so we tried to just be really intentional about that and keep in our heads what the mission of the story was, which was to get this kind of information and this kind of understanding to the public. And that really helped, at least for me, kind of gave motivation throughout the months that we worked on it, is knowing that this was for a purpose and for a cause that we all believed in.
All right. Silvia Foster-Frau of the Washington Post, thank you for sharing your time tonight.
Thank you so much.